Hey guys, welcome back to Short Story Long, where I tell every short story in an extremely long way. How have we been all week? Okay, it's Thursday, it's pod day. How have we been? I've been great. I have notes on my computer now. We've upgraded a little bit, so you see me look down, it's because I'm looking at them. I hope you guys are all well. Let me know down in the comments. I've had good responses to the first one, so thank you to the people who have been talking to me about it. This one I think is going to be a lot more serious than the last one, just based on where it goes. And you probably can tell based off the title of the video, but before we get there, let's talk about the things I want to just talk about. First, my highs and lows of the week. Yes, this is how it goes. So first, high of the week. My highs haven't happened yet, okay? I'm anticipating them, and maybe in a week it'll go catastrophically wrong, but they all happened today, and I'm really excited. So my parents are making steak for dinner, and I'm making little potato cheese stack things, and I love it. It's become my favorite little meal right now, and I'm very excited because they pair so nicely, and it's like, I love eating a potato. I'm a potato enthusiast, okay? I love every form of potato. My favorite form of potato, good question, thank you for asking, is the potatoes that are about this big, put in a bunch of like rosemary, thyme, garlic, butter, just like little baby potatoes that you can just like pop into your mouth, and it's no bigger than a baby tomato. And they're delicious. I love them. But the potato stack things are like really thinly sliced potatoes, a little bit thicker than a chip, okay? And you mix it all with like butter and garlic and herbs and stuff, and then you put a couple potato slices and then some cheese sprinkled in, then potato slices and cheese, potato, cheese, put them in a muffin tin, put that in the oven, take it out of the oven, and it's like this crispy, delicious little snack. Honestly, it's really good. And I think you all should make some for yourselves. So I'm really excited for dinner. Honestly, that's what I'm saying. And then the other thing I'm really excited for is Olivia Rodrigo is dropping an album tonight. Yes! She obviously has 2 singles that have released, Drop Dead and The Cure, have already come out, and she sang Begged on SNL, and I can't think of the name of it, and I also can't think of the name of the guy, but it's the guy from The Cure, like the band The Cure, collabed with her on a song, and that one's been like stuck in my head. What's Wrong With Me? Is that the name? I'm not gonna fact check myself. We're gonna actually, yes I can. Oh wait. Yes, it is What's Wrong With Me. What's Wrong With Me, Olivia Rodrigo. Sorry for the awkward silence for about 3 seconds. I'm not cutting that. But I'm really excited. I'm really excited at midnight to leave all my friends and put in headphones and just listen to it for an hour and then come back to my friends, probably with a lot of thoughts. I'm really excited. Okay. My low for the week is also quite silly. These are quite lighthearted. But my low is that there's no more Too Hot to Handle. And why was no one gonna tell me that? Okay, so I was talking to my one friend the other day, because Love Island has obviously been everywhere, and I've never once watched Love Island. I kind of always just like watch everyone's thoughts on Love Island and like use that as a way to get my thoughts out, but I don't really ever watch Love Island. Like, I've never pressed play on the television and been like, Love Island. Do I think I would like it? Probably. I love reality TV shows. But I was telling my friend about my favorite reality TV show in this kind of structure of like dating called Too Hot to Handle, in which they all think they're basically going on a Love Island type show, but then all of a sudden they can't do anything. Like, no intercourse, no kissing, no masturbation, like nothing. Like, you do not do anything. And it's about finding like true love, and it was so good. And I was talking about it, and then the more I was telling him the lore, the more like invested I was getting into Hot to Handle again. And I'm like, oh, it comes out like every summer, whatever. And I'm like, I can't remember if it came out last summer or not, because last summer I worked like a lot, so I might have missed the season. So I was like going on Google like, oh, is there gonna be a new season of Too Hot to Handle? And they were like, no, it ended after the most recent season, which was in 2024. So last year they didn't have a season. and it's never coming back. So I'm currently mourning the loss of Too Hot to Handle. I'm really upset about it, actually. So if anyone has any suggestions similar to that, and don't say Love Island. Love Island, in my opinion, too boring. Like, there's no twist. There's nothing really going on. If anyone has a fun one like that, like, let me know. I've been thinking about Temptation Island. That sounds like mass chaos, which I think is kind of fun. But let me know. But yes, that is my highs and the lows of the week. Honorable mention for my highs, though, is these bed sheets. Not sponsored, obviously. I have like 10 subscribers. But these bed sheets are cool. They're really cool. I have no air conditioning in my room, like, at all. So I have this fan constantly running, and then these bed sheets are cooling bed sheets that when you're sitting in them, it's freezing. And most people probably would hate that because, you know, blankets just make you feel all warm. And this is very cold. But I love it because I have no AC, so it is great for me. Otherwise, that's my highs and lows out the way. The first thing I want to talk about, my first, like, topic of the day, is my coworker and I were talking about dinosaurs for like a really long time today. Mind you, I think neither of us know anything about dinosaurs, and I kind of don't want to know. Like, I know that everything that's about to come out of my mouth is incredibly wrong. Okay, but let me just, like, have my conversation and it'll be fun. Okay, please. So it all started with the whole thing of, like, oh, how do we know dinosaurs weren't, like, bright pink or bright purple? And, like, for obvious reasons, they probably were, like, camouflaging with the trees and stuff, so they'd be, like, green and brown and boring colored. But I like to think of, like, a bright pink dinosaur having had walked the earth at one point. And then it obviously led us into talking about how they could have had feathers because birds today were dinosaurs, so it's like, oh, they could probably have feathers. And then we were like, oh yeah, if they have feathers, they can be bright pink, whatever. And then I was like, wait a minute. If a chicken, because we started, okay, let me pause this thought. We were talking about T-Rexes, because my one coworker is convinced that T-Rexes could have flown. They could have been in the air with wings. Because, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, well, think about it. Pterodactyls have very short arms because they have wings, so they don't really need their arms. And T-Rexes have really short arms, but why would they have short arms if not for the fact that they flew? Only they would have found the wings, though. You know what I mean? Like, they would have found them with the rest of the bones in the ground. And he's like, no, Lauren, you're not listening. Like, if the wings are cartilage, like, think about it. The wings on a bat are cartilage. Like, they would disintegrate. I'm like, right, but their arms that are attached to the wings are bones. And he's like, but what if at one point the bones, like, the arms disconnected from the cartilage and now you just have giant wings? And then my other coworker is like, well, I feel like you're describing a dragon. And now we were all like, wait, what is a dragon? Because a dragon, is it not a dinosaur? So what we ended up finding, and I'm going to try and find it again, was a definition that was like, a dragon is just a big reptile that sometimes flies. And it's like, sometimes flies? That's a dinosaur. Sorry, I'm Googling what is a dragon. Yeah, a mythical creature. Okay, hold on. It's a large, scaly, and reptilian being with sometimes wings, claws, or powers. That sounds like a freaking dinosaur to me. And it's like, okay, this is a mythical creature, whatever. But I was telling this to my friends who don't work with me, and they were talking about how, oh, well, I've always believed that the reason we think dinosaurs were closer to our existence than we believe, or, like, that we found the fossils, like, way prior, is because dragons exist in mythological, like, folklore. And, like, for example, Chinese New Year's, like, you have the year of the dog, the year of the rat, the year of the snake, whatever. All completely normal animals, and then it's just, like, the year of the dragon. I'm thinking it's because dragons were here, and it was the dinosaurs, preferably a T-Rex. That's my theory. Okay, I know it's wrong. Okay, you don't have to go in the comments going, T-Rex is obviously can't fly for this reason. I don't care. I'm a modern day philosopher, and this is how I'm philosophizing. Anyways, but now we circle back to, we Google this picture. Hold on, wait. T-Rex to bird. Yeah, T-Rex related to birds. Okay, right. And you go to images. You'll see an image that goes like this. How do I open it? Oh wait, I can't like make it bigger. But it's basically a T-Rex slowly evolving to get wings and then becoming a chicken. And I was like, facts. Correct. A chicken, like a T-Rex as a chicken. And then we were all like, wait a minute, if and then I said, this is when my revolutionary philosophical thought hit the room, and we all like actually like had to sit there for a minute and sit with it. But I thought to myself, if a T-Rex has wings, right, and it became a chicken, okay, you have to all bear with me. T-Rex became a chicken, and a dinosaur nugget, like a dino nugget, is a dinosaur-shaped nugget, dinosaur-shaped chicken nugget specifically, and a chicken is a dinosaur. Are they not just dino nuggets? Like, not even dinosaur chicken nuggets. Is it not like, I'm just eating a dinosaur? You know what I mean? Like, that is a dinosaur nugget. Like, right? Like, am I crazy? Am I not? Like, I swear to God I cooked with this, and it made so much more sense at 11 a.m. But I swear to God I cooked. Like, this is correct. Also, what's up with rhinos? My one coworker said, what's up with rhinos? And I was like, what do you mean, what's up with rhinos? He's like, that had to have been a triceratops. And you know what? He might be right. I feel like a triceratops could have become a rhino. And then, the best part of all of it, though, is that I go, if dragons are real, right, based on what we just have previously discussed, who's to say a unicorn didn't exist? And they were all like, no, you're an idiot. All right. Hands in the air, like, I guess I'm the wrong one for even throwing out there that a unicorn could exist, but I feel like it's more probable that a guy with a horn existed than something with wings, but whatever. Anyways, that's my dinosaur talk. If anyone has any questions for me, I'll try to answer them in the best way possible. Also, I promise I'm smart. Like, I sound like an idiot, but I promise I'm smart. Like, I really swear on my life. Anyways, my next topic is that I've become a jester. Not like a court jester. I've become an infinite jester. You can probably see there's no bookmarks. Yeah, I'm brave. I'm doing this no bookmarks. Most people use 2 to 3. I have 0. And I'm not dog-earing anything either. I'm on page 17. So I haven't hit footnotes yet or anything. But my friends surely have, and they're like, oh no, you're gonna cry. Our goal is to read to page 87 by Sunday. I'm on 17. I'm gonna read as soon as I stop recording this and while it's uploading. And I think by tonight I can probably get to 50. That's my goal, is to get to like 50 by the end of the night. I really like it so far. I've really only read the first chapter. And I'm gonna try not to spoil it because apparently being like, it's kind of a book that you kind of just have to like be along for the ride for, and whether you commit to it or not is what you choose to do. So far, nothing about like how entertainment controls you, which I know is going to show up eventually. And so far, nothing. I haven't gotten to the second half of characters. Like, I'm kind of only with Hal so far. So I'm intrigued to see what happens. I also have no idea what's going on, frankly, because everything is told out of order, but it's all right. I'm going to be all right. It's the first time I will ever say that in my time of leisurely reading, like reading by myself, leisurely in my bedroom, just like having a key, having a good time, is the first time in my life that I ever took a notebook down and started writing summaries on what's going on. Also, speaking of bookmarks, like, I'm being ridiculous. I'm gonna probably get sticky tabs. I have a couple, and I'm not gonna tab the book because I'm not a book tabber. Sorry, but I probably will use those as bookmarks and be like, this is the footnote bookmarker, this is the normal bookmarker, and this is for page 223, because in my research that's apparently relevant. I'm really trying not to go in with like any spoilers at all, but I was literally like, at one point I just googled how to read Infinite Jest because I was so bewildered, truly. And it was like, oh, you read it this way, like you read it, the footnotes as they happen, like the endnotes as they happen. Also, bookmark page 223, you'll thank me later. I'm like, what? And they're like, do not turn to page 223 to figure out why. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I'll be very excited to update you when I get to 223 to see what is going on there, but that's it. Also, I continued watching more of Attack on Titan, and here's my trend, is that every time I go to watch the show, I stop watching it an episode too soon. So, like, I'm not gonna spoil it, but I stopped watching it and then been like, oh my god, I love this person, and then literally, when I go to resume it, the first thing that happens is that they die. And I'm like, alright, cool. And then this time around, I'm like, I hate this character. And then I go to resume it. They live, their friend dies. We're lying. So I gotta just stop pausing the show. I'm really scared at this point that when I go to turn it on now, something absolutely nuts is gonna happen, but I don't even know. I fear I'm afraid. You know, the vibes. Okay. I think now I'm actually gonna just talk about the thing, like, of the actual episode, like the actual episode's title, what we're here for, because I think I have a lot to say this time around, whereas last time I was kind of, like, cutting myself off, but, I've titled the video something along the lines of Girls in or an Eating Disorder, because I've been wanting to talk about this for a while, so I think the only way to talk about this is to really talk about myself as a person first. First of all, I'm finally revealing what sorority I'm in. I've been hiding it from my channel for a while. Like, last time I was wearing the letters and then I took them off and put on a Philly shirt because I didn't want anyone to know what I was in. But I figured if I contextually talk about this, I should mention that I'm a DEEF. I'm in Delta Phi Epsilon, D Phi E, 1917, the vibes. But one of the 3 philanthropies from Delta Phi Epsilon is the Anorexia Nervosa and Associated Disorders Foundation, the National Association of Anorexia Nervosa and Associated Disorders, right? What we call ANAD, okay? I'm just gonna keep calling it ANAD. What that all stands for basically is getting resources for people with eating disorders, trying to help people with eating disorders get recovery, giving them, like, hotlines, stuff like that, like, going out and donating money and, like, helping people who have eating disorders. Most of the girls who enter Delta Phi Epsilon join it because they have a deep connection with that specific philanthropy. At least the ones that I know. Our other 2 philanthropies are the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, so you'll see girls who have a connection to cystic fibrosis also in the sorority. Or you'll see, and then the third one is the Delta Phi Epsilon Educational Foundation, which, like, helps give scholarships to the girls in the sorority. So that one, I wouldn't say is, like, the reason that people join. Like, no one's, like, out here like, oh my god, I have a deep connection to the Delta Phi Epsilon Educational Foundation before they join. But a lot of people connect to either cystic fibrosis or ANAD. Most of them connecting to ANAD because I think, at least within the girls of my generation, eating disorders run rampant run in the society. So that's why I joined DEEFer. I became a DEEF because of ANAD. I've never been diagnosed with an eating disorder in my life. I'm not going to claim I have been, but I definitely have one. I don't remember what it's called, but it's the one that, like, doesn't have a name, where it's like you kind of just make up what you're doing on the fly, and that's just kind of what you're stuck with. I'm definitely not anorexic, and I'm definitely not a binge eater, and I'm not exclusively bulimic, but there will be days where I starve myself as if I'm, like, anorexic, and then I'll throw up even more to try and just get out whatever is left in me. And it's a mixed eating disorder, and I forget what they're called. There's definitely a name for it, but it's where your eating disorders are all mixed in layers together, and you're stuck with it. And I haven't done anything like that or crazy like that in years. But when I was at my worst, I was very, very thin. Not, like, concerningly thin, but I kept thinking I was fat. Like, if I look at pictures of myself when I was in that peak, I was like 120 pounds thinking I was fat. Like, what are we talking about? So I just feel like that just needs to be established. Like, I've had a deep connection with it, and obviously I'll see things that sometimes trigger me, and I'm like, oh, I gotta stop. But I also grew up as a diver and a cheerleader and a gymnast, and diving specifically, you see girls in bathing suits every single day, and you're like, why do they look so much thinner in that bathing suit than I do? You see them in the most thin clothes possible, and I just remember that made it so much worse because I would just compare myself to the other girls on my team. In cheer, I would compare myself to the flyers, who obviously I'm not a flyer. Like, I do not need to be up in the air, and I would compare myself to these really short girls who are really thin and are there to just be chucked in the air as a base, and I would think I need to lose weight, I need to be that thin, I need to get there. And it was concerning, and it started taking over my life at a young age, honestly, like at like 12 to 14. And for the most part, I don't really think about it anymore. Like, for the most part, I can kind of tune it out and live my life. I do think, like, I wish I would lose weight right now, but I would never think to do it in, like, a crazy, unhealthy way as I did before. But I think that's just important to know contextually for what I'm about to talk about. Okay, girl dinner. Let's talk about girl dinner. In 2023, May of 2023, so it just turned about 3 years old, someone posted online a video of them eating bread and butter, basically, for dinner, being like, oh, this is my girl dinner. Isn't this so real, girls? We all just only eat bread and butter for dinner. And everyone in the comments were like, oh yeah, like, ha ha ha, funny. And then they started posting their own girl dinners, and it would be like, here's my bag of chips for dinner. Here is whatever for dinner. And it's like this, and they're like, my girl dinner. It's not a girl dinner. This is borderline starving yourselves. You're eating like one piece of bread and being like, dinner. Like, no. Also, the piece of bread is not like nutritionally valued. It's not going to get you anywhere. You're going to be so much unhealthier than you were if you were just to eat even a small portion of something with nutritional value, like, in general. But it became like a huge thing. Like, I'm sure everyone remembers it. Like, we were all there for it. Like, everyone was posting like, oh, this is my girl dinner, this is my girl dinner, this is my girl dinner. And it would literally just be like, just be like nonsense. Like, it would literally be a nonsense meal that we're calling dinner. We're calling it dinner. Isn't that crazy? We're calling it dinner. The thing that really sparked me wanting to talk about this is that last night my friend sent me a video that was like, if you could only eat one thing for 30 days to guarantee you $1 million, what would you eat? And this one guy named Jay commented on the video, my wife, which is in and of itself crazy. And then all the other comments were like, oh, I guess we're all having Jay's wife, like, wow, Jay's crazy, like, whatever. And literally, like, all of the comments. And my friend sent it to me and was like, oh boy, do I have a comment section for you to look at, thinking I'd find it funny. And inherently, that's a little funny, okay? Like, I'll give him the credit. But the top comment above Jay and all of the other people was the Tiffany plate. I'd be really skinny. So I had to investigate, okay? I had to investigate. The Tiffany plate, from what I've seen, is, this is so crazy, raw vegetables, a singular sausage link, and fruit. In the middle, little cottage cheese with mustard, I'm uncomfortable, that you would dip all of it into. So, like, you would dip your sausage into the cottage cheese mustard combo. You dip the veg into the cottage cheese custard combo. I hope she was not dipping a strawberry. Like, that would actually make me, like, I'm actually sick to myself, like, thinking about it. I really don't like cottage cheese or mustard, so immediately I'm uncomfortable. But all these comments are like, oh, like, this is so, like, interesting, whatever, interesting. And they're like, you can be so diverse with the Tiffany plate. Like, you can exchange the cottage cheese for some brie. Okay. Or you can exchange the sausage link with a different flavored sausage link. And you're like, what is happening here? And it basically is just like people just continuously eating nothing and hoping that it will be fine for everyone. And I then saw a girl that was like, day 4 of me only eating Tiffany plates. And it's like, oh, I'm scared for you. And she's like, I'm already down 3 pounds. Are we serious? You're down 3 pounds from eating nothing? Hey guys, that's giving starving myself, because there's no way that's enough calories. There's no way. And what they said actually is like, oh, it's so little calories, but the portion is so big that you're full. So you trick yourself into eating less. And you're like, the alarms start going off. It's like, this is not normal. This is a problem, in my opinion. This is a problem. And I think that people normalize eating disorders and like weight loss like so severely, especially with the advent of like the internet. It's the reason I deleted Instagram for a really long time, because I'd look at Instagram and I would think like, oh my god, I need to look like these people, but I literally couldn't. So I deleted it. And I also, Instagram, on a whole other tangent, gave me a lot of FOMO, like fear of missing out. So I deleted it. And then people were like, why did you delete Instagram? And I was like, oh, I just don't like it anymore. But then also you go to college and you're expected to be on Instagram for like updates and stuff on like everything. It's infuriating. That's how you are supposed to meet your roommates now, is through Instagram. When you're in a sorority, you're supposed to repost every single thing that they post, like every single thing that they post. You're just supposed to be locked in. In fact, when you join a sorority, they have to scan your Instagram first to make sure that like you're not a problem. And like, what if I didn't want to? What if I didn't want Instagram like at all? Like, what if I just didn't want it? You can't. You have to have it. You literally have to have it. And I can't dodge it. And now I just like don't turn it on, and people send me reels and stuff, and I'm like, I literally can't look at it. And they're like, bye, you look at TikTok all the time. And I'm like, because in my brain TikTok is different. But sometimes TikTok will let these things like slip through, and it wasn't even like something that was on my For You page. It's something that it was sent to me, and then I looked at the comments, and then I went and outwardly searched for it. Like, this is on me, to be honest. But it's just, I'm really concerned that people have normalized just like starving themselves so much. Like, there's always this like like people are like, give me diabolical weight loss hacks, and like the one that I see all the time is like, if you're hungry, eat an apple. If you don't want an apple, you're not hungry. And it's like, oh my god, what if someone just wants to change? Like, what if we just want a little bit of chips? You should be allowed to have chips. You should be allowed to have chips. This is like concerning. I'm like genuinely concerned for the state of like us and having so many eating disorders. And I know that they're not new. Like, I know that they've been around obviously for like decades and centuries. Eating disorders, like, they've been there. But I think it's really concerning, especially with like I don't want to call it like the GLP-1 or Ozempic craze, but everyone looks way skinnier now, and it's not natural most of the time. And that's not me saying like, oh, if you're diabetic, you shouldn't be on Ozempic. Like, obviously, if you medically need Ozempic, like, get Ozempic. I'm not even saying you shouldn't do that. Like, obviously, you should get Ozempic. But if you are just like I would not need Ozempic. I'm going to say it flat out. I don't need Ozempic. But if I were to go on Ozempic tomorrow and lose a ton of weight, everyone's going to look at me like sideways, because what the heck happened to me? You know what I mean? And like, the problem is that no one is able to look at these people sideways, because they only go viral when they are like, look at my weight loss journey, and it's them losing like 100 pounds in like 6 months because they like got a GLP-1. And now that the GLP-1 pill exists, it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be actually crazy. Like, people are gonna go nuts over it, and everyone's gonna be skinny. Everyone's actually gonna be skinny. So I'm genuinely concerned, honestly. I think this is gonna be a real problem. And I think that stuff like girl dinner, the Tiffany plate, trends like that, in which they're like, oh, here's how you life hack how to eat less while not feeling like you're gonna die. And it's like, you're still eating less. Like, you can trick your brain into doing whatever, but you're still eating less. And then same with like they're like, oh, if you are hungry, just drink water, and then it'll make you feel full without eating anything. And you're like, what? Like, what are we talking about? I just think, I feel like I haven't really gotten to a point here. Like, I feel like I kind of just keep like circling things and just saying nonsense. But my point is that I think that we need to stop posting these things. We need to stop doing it. It's gonna get to a point where people are going to genuinely have like hard consequences from it. I think the same thing with like energy drinks. I guess people kind of started to learn it with like Panera's charged lemonade. They're like, oh shoot, energy drinks are gonna kill you. But I think like things like that we're normalizing, drinking a ton of those or like eating a ton of nothing, like they're gonna end up harming people. And it's not like a quick little trend. Like you're gonna end up getting hurt. And I feel like people don't realize that they're going to be hurt, seriously hurt from these things. And we need to genuinely talk about them. I'm like genuinely concerned for the health and well-being of everyone, but especially young women, because it's pushed on young women most, because women have to fit in a little box. We have to look like a certain way, we have to act a certain way, we have to do all this. But if you're a little bit outside of the box, God forbid, get back in there, right? Like do anything you can to crawl your way back in there, even if only your bones can get in and your body is gone and your soul is gone because you're dead. Like that's the type of energy that they want from you. They want you to like die for it. And I think it's really concerning, and we need to genuinely get a grip on it. I don't really have much else to say. This one's a little bit shorter because my beginning was a lot shorter too, but I just think that this needs to be talked about, and I couldn't like let it sit, so I decided to talk about it today. I need to go make my little potato stack things because I will not be having grilled dinner tonight. I'm having steak and potatoes. An ancient meal, if you will. But that's pretty much it. That's all I really have to say. Thanks for stopping by. Consider subscribing and stopping by again. And I will see you at this time-ish next week.